Dated a married woman I worked with for over almost 2 years. Part 1. New account for anonymity, of course. Years ago I was working a job. It was a simple job, but it was rather enjoyable at times. It was a lot of soldering, manufacturing, etc. It's where I learned how to solder, which I've actually loved since. After I worked there for about 8 to 10 months, we got a new batch of new hires. One was a very short woman who was incredibly sassy and clearly didn't take anything from anyone. Within the first 2 to 3 days of working with her, I still remember one as we were all clocking in. I offered for her to clock in ahead of me and she waved me ahead saying women first. It was rather endearing, honestly. A few weeks into working with her, not always on the same shift or job assignment, so we didn't always work together at all, we started to talk a bit more and more. Turns out she's married, 2 kids, nice family, good lil life. She's just working this to help out with the bills. I ended up teaching her a lot about the job as I had learned a lot prior to her showing up and had taken quite well to this kind of work. As time goes on we get closer, talking more about life, family. I explained my situation saying I'm still living at home sadly, was 28 at the time, lot of bad choices, situations in my life, and her being 32 I believe at the time, saying she doesn't think she loves her husband anymore and that she's not totally unhappy. Just not fulfilled, I suppose is the best word. Well, as it turns out, I didn't have the best morals at all, because over time we grew closer and closer and I flirted a lot. Like, a lot. And she flirted wasn't innocent in the slightest, she flirted back as much if not more. For clarification, we worked the swing shifts so we'd get off work around midnight and every few weeks a few of us would go to a club together after our shift, eat some food, hang out, etc. Well, one of those nights her and I went out alone to the club together. Just us, eating food, enjoying the show, etc. After about 2 hours we ended up back in my car like 100 feet away from the entrance, and after talking/flirting a bit more we ended up having dirty for the first time in my car right outside of a club. Romantic, I know. That was our first time. Many more times were to come. Over time we continued to keep this up. We joined the local gym together and again, after our shift we'd go to work out together. We had dirty in their pool, their sauna, my car, her car. My car a few times during our lunch break. I'd drive for like 2 minutes away from our building, find a remote spot and yeah. We took a few vacations together. Where she'd tell her family it was a work thing and we'd rent a hotel at a nice resort for a few nights and it always ended up being a marathon of dirty. She'd come over to my family's house and we'd have dirty there even though most of them knew of the situation.